We left the UK 4 months ago with big plans. Sailing full-time, working part-time, trying our best to live the dream. But by the time we reached Portugal, the cracks were starting to show. We didn't realise it at the time, but we really needed to slow down, drink some beers, and hang out with new friends. Luckily for us, that's exactly what ended up happening in our first town in Portugal, Viana do Castelo. Hi, we're Laura and Stu. A year ago, we swapped our lives on land for an adventure at sea aboard our 36-foot sailboat Delfino. So far, we've explored the coasts of Scotland, England, France, and Spain, and now we've just arrived in Portugal. As we sail south, we're learning the ropes and gearing up for our ultimate challenge, crossing the Atlantic Ocean. Subscribe and join us for a journey filled with discovery, adventure, and delicious food along the way. Good morning. It is our first day in Portugal and we are just about to head off the boat to check out the town of Viana. I have never been to Portugal before. I know very little about Portugal, so I am excited to see what this is going to be like, and we'll share our first impressions with you. Along with some new friends that we'd made on the pontoon, we headed out to explore Viana do Castelo. Our end goal was the Basilica de Santa Luisa on the hill above the town. But before getting there, we walked past tile-covered buildings, along quaint cobbled streets, and saw the decorations going up. It turns out that the town was gearing up for a 9-day festival to celebrate the Virgin Mary. All of the major streets and churches along our route were getting decked out, and there were a lot of churches in Viana.
Yeah, that's a church.
Yeah, I think
that's a church, did you say?
Yeah.
I gotta say, this is really nice. It's surprising me the difference between Portugal and Spain that's been almost immediately noticeable. I don't know if it's this town in particular. It's just got a little bit of sort of polish to it, but also more whitewashed buildings. Yeah, really. It's ended up being a hot walk. We've been hanging out with these guys, really lovely British guys. One of them is doing an Atlantic circuit, which is awesome. But yeah, talked us into walk.
Rapid.
They are rapid, yeah.
Left us in the dust.
They're also like 10 years younger than us.
We made it to the top of the hill and the Basilica, although admittedly we were a few minutes later than our new friends from Brimble.
Honestly. What do you mean swimming?
Yeah, this bit. Ew. That's so gross. There's a tram that you can take up or down, but sadly today it wasn't working, so we headed back down on foot. We took the direct route back, which is down a lot of stairs. Stairs are a bit steep.
Viana do Castelo has been a lovely town. I really enjoyed it. Very cute. Definitely recommend it. Oh, that was a good long walk. I think we were walking for like 2.5 hours or something.
Yeah, a long time.
Trying to like keep up with the young ones, you know. They're both pretty fit, those guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was lovely. I think we need, because we both work, like Laura on the YouTube and I work remotely, we need reminders to go and do some of that stuff. It's part of the reason we're here traveling, is to experience places like that, and that was really, really nice.
So after our walk, I think it's time to properly introduce you to Jack, Ben and Brimble.
I'm Ben, this is Jack. So I grew up sailing on Brim, and we did the Atlantic circuit as a family of 4 in 2008. When I was 7, always tell people that I did a Atlantic crossing, but really I didn't, because I was 8 years old and was just kind of
along for the ride,
along for the ride, playing with my Hot Wheels and Legos. So, but I've just finished uni, where I've studied ship design and engineering, and I'm not quite ready for a job, but I've been in the world of boats and I'm not quite ready to leave. So I thought, well, Dad's let me have his boat for a year, so I may as well do that trip again.
Yeah.
And this time do it myself. Really lucky that I've had mates like Ben who are coming to join me for a few weeks at a time. Then I've got like multiple people coming for different parts of the trip, and I've got people signed up, so that's really exciting.
So it was your first day sailing, Ben, wasn't it?
Yeah, first day. Yeah, it was a nice introduction. Luckily, Jack's a very good teacher, so and nice calm waters as well, which really helped. But yeah, ready for a slightly more choppy day today, but still will be fairly
I think
fairly
it'll be
tame.
okay.
Have you enjoyed it?
Oh, it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Definitely a little thing I can see myself doing more. About to hopefully start a career in boat building, so it's a good introduction, and I can actually know what I'm talking about as well, which will definitely help.
Maybe you'll say the same thing after today. It might
Yeah,
be a little
we'll
bit-
see.
a little bit more of an exciting sail. Yeah, I saw you guys sailing the other day, and I think we motored past you thinking like, yeah, good, fair enough, they're trying hard, you know?
Yeah.
Well, we got to save on fuel because we're just students, so we don't actually have that money. So any fuel that we can save, we'll try our best. Even if we're pottering along at 2.5 knots, like we can still sail. We're still going somewhere. So Brimble is a 28-foot twister. She was built in '72 by a naval architect called Kilm
Yeah.
who designed a lot of the early Rustler boats.
Yeah.
So she's got some real pedigree behind her, and she was an old cruising racer. And she's called a twister because she used to twist the rules of racing using handicaps and stuff. So she became very successful as well, not Brim in particular, but the twister class became very successful as racing cruisers.
Of course,
Yeah.
I've asked a student of naval architecture, and he's given me a very detailed,
yeah.
detailed answer.
She's a fantastic little boat. She can take a lot, and she's very safe, small but safe.
Yeah.
Essentially, she's just like a ping pong ball on the top of the waves. Really, she's been up to the Lawforton Islands in the Arctic. She's been to Iceland a couple of times, I think. All my dad's trips. My dad loves taking sabbaticals and just going off into the middle of nowhere. But she's had some hardy miles behind her. But,
Yeah. Cool, sweet. Well, thanks, Dan.
Massive thank you to Jack and Ben for being Stu's first, and I think only, interviewees, and for helping us to get away from our laptops and have some fun while we were in Viana, and also in Porto, but more on that in next week's video. Time for our favourite part of going to a new country, trip to the supermarket.
I thought you were going to go away with that. I was wondering what you were going to say. Yeah, it is super fun going to the supermarket.
Not as big as in Spain. 4.5 kilos of goods paste.
That's amazing.
Right outside the supermarket, Stu could not wait to solve Paul.
My wife was hungry, okay? Quit blaming it on me. Will they be sweet or will they be savoury? After you, Laura.
Yeah.
Very nice. It's like a hot pastry, I guess. It's like croissant, cooked to very crispiness. The glaze.
Supermarket was not as novel as going from France to Spain, so unsurprisingly, given it was the same brand as in Spain, pretty similar. You're allowed to touch your own fruit and veg without gloves, but you are not allowed to weigh your own fruit and veg. A woman still has to do that. She will appear from somewhere in the supermarket when she sees that you need your fruit and veg weighed, but you've still got to have it weighed. We didn't really need to get much today, so we were just doing a bit of a recce, but I did spot some Portuguese things that I'm keen to have a play around with, so hopefully I'll show you those in the coming weeks. Good morning. As usual for us, we're having a very harmonious morning with very clear communication.
I thought Laura was taking us to a bakery. Apparently I was the one leading us. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're going to the bakery. It's going to be
So
good.
we are going to a bakery, potentially not the one recommended by the marina guy, but to buy the thing that he did recommend, which is a sort of custardy donut thing that is apparently from Viana. So we're going to make the most of our last couple of hours here. Got the goods. Actually ended up with more baked goods than we were bargaining for, particularly given that one of these is a custard filled donut, but there we go. So this is what we were looking for from the bakery this morning. This is a Bolas de Berlin, which apparently has a German influence, which is now less surprising having heard the name. So either unclear whether it was from German immigrants to the Portuguese coast or from Portuguese people travelling to Germany, but this is apparently very similar to German donut, and it's basically a donut with a custard filling. So give it a go.
Hold on. Hold. Nice. Good?
So it is a custard donut, but it has got a bit of cinnamon around the outside, which is very tasty. The custard is not as vanilla-y as I was expecting. It's quite eggy and quite sweet. Definitely sweeter than English custard, and I think less kind of milky than English custard, but very tasty. Here you go. Do you want your half?
Wow, the custard is very eggy, isn't it? Almost like gelatinous. Oh, it's good though. The dough is a bit sweet, but not as sweet as I was expecting. Yummy, it's good. So we've just been on this kind of waiting pontoon out of the entrance of the marina. The marina entrance is over there. Yeah, in the end we didn't have to do that sketchy entrance that the guidebook was talking about, and it should make leaving today easy, because all we have to do is just come off of the pontoon and drive off. But let me tell you, the tides are pretty intense in here. Yeah, it definitely rips through. I reckon it's a couple of knots. Look at this. And this is it just getting started. It'll be much worse later. Otherwise though, we're heading about 35 miles down to Porto today. So wind should be a bit stronger. We should actually get a bit of sailing in and a bit of a taste of the sort of Portuguese trades, as they're called. Yeah, pretty excited. And I'm super excited to check out Porto too. I think Porto is going to be absolutely amazing.
We are just about to leave Viana, and Stu is letting me helm out. He says it'll be good tidal practice for me, because there is a pretty intense tide in the river here, and what he wants me to do is ferry walk out, which basically means like glide sideways out using the current and kind of like staying in the same position relative to the dock, but just sort of moving sideways a little bit. So we're going to see how that goes. I think I have faith in my abilities not to damage anything. Whether I have faith in my abilities to execute the manoeuvre exactly as Stu wants, I don't know.
You got it. It'll be fine.
Thanks. So,
It's locked, so
oh, steering's very heavy.
it will be heavy though.
Okay, I'm going click reverse.
Yeah, dropping stern line.
Oh wow, she's coming in a lot.
Have you undone the steering?
No.
Straighten the other way, the other way, the other way. Lower stern, try and hold it. Easy.
Filming my like weird manoeuvre.
Well, to be honest, it worked. It looked almost graceful. If you didn't know what we were trying to do, that would have looked very graceful. I'm still cracking up at how quickly that all happened. Like,
Yeah, the key piece of information that I needed to know was that the steering wheel was locked to port for while you were undocking, not locked to port for the entire manoeuvre. Because you've been like, oh, you're going to have to use some very careful throttle control to get out of it. So I was like, okay, right.
I said throttle and helm, but then I told you that the helm is locked, by the way. And what I meant to say was, remember to unlock the helm so that you have helm control.
I see, right.
I think what you interpreted as was...
The helm has been locked for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Classic morning communication aboard the good ship Delphine.
From the perspective of those guys, that might have looked like a beautiful little pirouette. Wow, they
For
did...
no reason, just for show.
Wow, they did that with such confidence.
I hope we haven't confused them on the best way to get off that dock. So did I execute the manoeuvre as you intended?
No.
Did I hit anything or damage anything?
No. 10 out of 10. Prediction realized. Well done, Laura. Good practice though, right?
Yeah. The prop walk really does take her.
Yeah.
Not been quite what we expected so far. The wind is actually dead on the nose when it's supposed to be behind us. So we're hoping that swings around soon. And the swell so far is probably what we should have expected, but we're being too optimistic to expect.
Yeah, this is rollers for sure.
Whee! Oh, whee! Oh my god. If it continues like this, we will probably pull in a little bit short of Porto. We have about 30 miles to get to Porto, but there is also another port 18 miles away that it's looking pretty good right now, not gonna lie.
Possible to see.
Oh yeah, like black on black with no pole, with no flag. I just shouted, turn right, and Stu heard turn round. So turned, because I couldn't think of the word for starboard. So Stu turned left towards it, which was the opposite of what I wanted. We didn't hit it, but communication still this morning proving challenging.
Look at this thing, man. How are you supposed to see that? There's so many of them. What the hell?
We found something very exciting, but not particularly authentically Portuguese in the supermarket in Viana. Cheddar! It was my first bit of cheddar since we left the UK in April. Oh, good. Cheddar and pickle. Oh yeah. Finally starting to flop around a bit.
As you start taking the clip, it gets forward again.
Yeah. Come on, turn around.
Now, wind that was forecast never arrived, but we got dolphins and there's been some pretty good views of the city. So you doing okay with Laura? Yeah?
Yeah, a little bit wobbly, but just had a nap. Now, it's pastel de nata time.
Ooh. Our first pastel de nata here in Portugal.
Yeah, we're officially in Portugal.
Yummy. Good? Oh, I can smell the cinnamon on them.
The cinnamon is an optional extra, but definitely is really good.
I'm sure almost all of you have heard of a pastel del nata, but in case you haven't, it's a pastry that's filled with the kind of, again, very eggy kind of custard that's quite set. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to starting my pastel de nata diet for the next month.
And after over 6 hours of rolling and dodging between fishing pots, we were very relieved to finally be pulling into Leixões, the industrial port of Porto. So we didn't get to sail today, it was a bit of a long motor, but we've made it into the Leixões Marina in Matosinhos, just next to Porto, and there is a pizzeria nearby calling our name.
It's a very industrial port, but to be honest, the marina is pretty nice, and yeah, looking forward to exploring a little bit.
Yeah, I think it'll do us well. Thanks for watching. Next time we're exploring Porto, the largest city we visited on our journey so far, and the place I was looking forward to the most. Let's hope it lives up to my expectations.